Hello and welcome back to Teushenthal, the Talkessel circuit in Germany for the 67th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Still about 14 degrees outside. Just looking out the window, still a bit breezy, but maybe not as stiff as it was, 18 kilometers per hour. We were just having that discussion a moment ago, Brock Glover and I, where who's going to be joining me again for the broadcast in Moto number 2, but because of the drone cam, we were thinking that thing's going to end up in Halle or Leipzig, just down the road in 30 k's in either direction. But obviously a little bit windy, but the track conditions are absolutely perfect. The crowd here just rammed to the brim, and we've seen great action out on track in Moto number 1, which was MX1 and MX2. We'll talk about that in just a moment or so, but the postcard looks like this. This is the local scenery of the area where we are. Halle down the road. Teushenthal is just a small village. Not much here, just houses actually, but after Moto number 1, coming into this Motocross of Nations, Germany on home soil are leading the way. They are on 13 points. Max Nagel scored 11. Ken Roczen scored a second. Team Italy, though, with Tony Cairoli, Alessandro Lupino, they came home second overall in the classification. Cairoli winning the race, picking up a point, and Lupino picking up 13th for the MX2. Australia are third, but they're tied on points with with Italy. And then Belgium fourth on 15, France on 17, Great Britain on 21, USA 22, Switzerland, Netherlands, and Austria. They're your top 10. Brock Glover joins me here in the booth once again. Moto number 2, which will be MX2 and MX Open. There's a quick look at the track, just over 1,500 meters long. Brock Glover, I tell you what, that first race was something else, wasn't it?
It was, and we just made a little pass through the press room, and it was a buzz with people talking about all the things that happened. Obviously, each journalist from their home country typing what they had, going through photos. We saw tremendous photos of a Tomac's crash, people talking about that, and it was an amazing thing.
MX2 and open class. Let's have a word with some riders. We're going to sneak in over here and have a word with Dean first before he goes to the toilet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Dean, you've been on it this weekend, and you've really come into your own this year. Really unlucky to miss on the top 3 spot in that first race.
Yeah, I got 4th, but I'm happy enough. Australia's in top 3. I got a good start, pulled the whole shot in 250. I'm going to try to do that again and put in another solid race. And hopefully Todd and Brett, pull it together for the the last couple of races as well. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can be on podium. That'd be awesome.
Fingers crossed. I'll let you go to the bathroom. We'll carry on and we'll have a word also with Jeremy Van Horbeck, if we can get hold of him. Jeremy, hello. So after race 1, you're obviously back on the 250 this weekend. You said to me yesterday you were having to adjust your riding style. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I felt really good, I still missed, the aggressivity, but I rode a solid moto, and a shame that Gauthier and Dungey passed me last lap with the 450, on the long straight, but felt good and just going to try to do even better now.
How's the track feeling?
Track is okay, but it's really fast, and
Is that with the new start?
Yeah, it's just similar, like it's fast and lines and it's difficult, but feeling good still, and 30 minutes more and my work is done.
Absolutely, best of luck. I can see him just behind. Let's see if Eli will. Eli, can we grab a quick word? Sorry to interrupt you. We want to check how you're feeling. That was a big moment there in the first race.
Yeah, I felt really good early on there, and just ended up making a really big mistake. Obviously went flying off the bars, and luckily for me, I am back here for Moto 2.
Physically,
you're okay? A little bit dinged up, but I'm okay. I should be able to do all right.
Well, fingers crossed for the second race. I'll let you get on. Right, that's all from us here down the start line.
Of course, then the riders went out in their sighting lap, but Brock Glover, good to see Eli Tomac just playing ball there, and grabbing a quick word with him. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but yeah, good to see him out there for a start.
Yeah, it could have been horrendous.
So Brock Glover, we just heard from Eli Tomac there, the start of MX2 and MX Open. That's going to be race 2. A little bit dinged up, but could have been worse. Obviously, Amy Dargan was the last person he wanted to speak to there, but he obliged, and good to see that he is okay and is ready to start.
You know, if you're an American fan of Team USA, I think you would have liked to have had a little bit more positive, yeah, I'm fine, I'm ready to go, but there seemed to be a little skepticism in his voice there, but hopefully he's just kind of playing cat and mouse.
Well, we were talking as well during the first broadcast how Eli Tomac came under the rear wheel of Ken Roczen during the race, how in the Nationals he used the short breaks between motos to get himself into a good position to challenge Roczen for the win, heartbreak wins or losses from Roczen's point. But we were just trying to work out, we had about 45 minutes between motos here for the MX2 guys, Obviously, they've not had a lot of time. You got to get back, you got to get the bikes washed, prepped, and everything else. Try and get a little bit of food down you and get yourself back in the zone. It's not easy, this Motocross of Nations business, is it?
Not particularly for the MX2. They have it the most difficult, and also the open class will have to ride back to back also. But they're less than an hour from the time they take the checkered flag to the time they have to start. But you have to remember, they got to get back on the bike. They've got to get up to the starting line. They got to fix their starting spot.
Sighting lap. And everything
sighting
else.
lap and everything included. So it's probably not much more than about a 20-30 minute moment where they're sitting down in a chair, changing jerseys, cleaning up, changing helmets, goggles, things. So it's going to be very difficult. And during the AMA Nationals, if history can help us here at all, Eli Tomac was the benefactor of these short breaks in America. But it's also a lot hotter, a lot more humid weather, and we weren't on German home soil where Roczen is. So.
The 15-second board is up here. We're getting ready to go racing once again here for the 67th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Eli Tomac looks like he's in the inside for Team USA. 5-second board goes up now. Dave Nicol, our FIM race director, looks like it's stacked with MX2 guys up the inside this time around. Put the weakest guy up the inside, but Dean Ferris again on that Yamaha. Roczen alongside him, and Sean Simpson, I think, for Great Britain in third place. We've got guys going down, and who's that? We've got Valentin Guillot there, and Colden Half. We've got one of the New Zealanders, 44. I think that's Lamont. Who else? Dennis Ulrich of Germany goes down. So this is going to be maybe their throwaway ride. Who knows? But wow, already an interesting start there. So, but Dean Ferris, an MX2 rider for Team Australia, he is leading the way.
And it's an MX2 parade. You've got one first, second, and third place right now. Ferris, Roczen, Tomac running 1, 2, 3 in this second moto against the open class.
This is going to be a great race. Obviously, we saw how fast Tomac was. Roczen said in moto number 1 he was struggling with arm pump and cramps, that kind of thing. He's only had about 30 minutes to get rid of that feeling in his arms. But look at this. It's, as you say, an MX2 fest at the moment. Dean Ferris, Ken Roczen, Eli Tomac, Justin Barsha, the first of the open class guys there in fourth. So Americans riding line astern at the moment. This could be their best moto, their best opportunity to get back on track and back on point. Brock Glover.
Yes, on the first lap, and if you're a Team USA fan, you're clearly taking a little bit of a sigh of relief. You've got your riders running third and fourth right now. Barsha did what he needed to do. He's the top open class rider, but this still, you got 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and as we saw last time, 30 minutes, the 2-lap board came out, and that was when Tomac had his problems. So This thing's not over till it's over.
No, we just saw there as well. Ken Roczen going through, never mentioned it's just early stages, but Sean Simpson getting a good start as well. He was in about 5th or 6th position, but back with our leaders. Ken Roczen, listen to the noise through here. Replay of the start. No, that was the pass. Took him high and wide. Tomac there in third, Barsha in fourth, so looking good for the USA at the moment. Tonkoff in around 5th place as they drop round through the chicane and over Tomac's Hill. I think we're going to have to call that.
It is. And Sean Simpson and Jake Nichols is sitting back in right now in 10th place. So the Team Great Britain, I mean, they're many times champion, only second to, a 16-time champion, I guess. And so they're feeling comfortable where they are also.
Getting ready to get these guys over the line next time around. 2 corners to go. Roczen looking to try and make a break of it. He knows exactly what's coming behind him. Eli Tomac, if he's ahead of him, he knows his you know, his nearest rival in the US Championship is going to be right behind him. So here's Roczen, a little bit short on the landing. Ferris, a little bit long on the landing. Tomac times it just perfectly as he looks to find a decent rut. So it's Roczen, Ferris, Tomac, Barsha, Simpson, Tonkov, Tano Leok, Jordi Tixier as Tomac looking for a way through, and he finds a way through up into second position then. So Dean Ferris looking to respond here. Oh, and he does so immediately. Thought there was going to be a little bit of bar banging action going on there, Brock Glover, but Ferris not close enough, and it's very early to challenge, especially with an aggressive move like that where both guys could go down. Tomac certainly doesn't need that second time around, does he?
No, he doesn't. I think he's goal one, stay off the ground. Goal two, you know, you can say what you want, you can sugarcoat it, you can be as politically correct as you want, but I can tell you right now, they both, Roczen and Tomac, want to win this race overall.
Just looking at the riders as they go through that first turn. Good start there from...
Yeah, that looked like Simpson on in the middle, was it? Is that what that was?
Simpson's here.
Okay, it was Nicholson. Somebody in the Great Britain team, but I am dumbfounded. They talk about how fast that bike of Ferris's is. It's fast. I mean, it clearly jumped out. He wasn't a half a bike length ahead, and was clearly got the whole shot. And we're looking at the crash here with
a bunch of guys going down, but yeah. Well, back with the leaders then. Roczen, Tomac, Ferris, and Barsha dropping down the hill. Barsha's first ride, of course, he was out for the last race yesterday, MX Open qualifying. He had a 20-minute warm-up at around about 9 o'clock this morning. Hasn't been out on the track since. So, of course, you know, that's a long time. With the B final going out as well for the race, the track has changed a big deal since they went out for practice this morning.
But one thing about the open class riders, I mean, yesterday they were at the end of the day, and they saw the track in the rough conditions. Some of the earlier riders who rode their qualifying heat, like the MX1 riders, they rode it early. So they haven't seen this track as rough, and now they're going to be faced with their final moto with it this rough.
All the sectors are lit up purple as Barsha keeps it nice and low and goes past Dean Ferris. A lap later, and exactly the same place as his teammate Eli Tomac went through to go into second. But Eli Tomac, the fastest rider on track, the gap between him and Roczen, just 1.2 seconds, a 43.2 lap time, and all the sectors faster than anybody else on track.
Yes, I mean, early in the race, obviously, but when you mention the sectors lineup, you know, first, second, and third section, and overall fastest lap. So Tomac puts that in the bag early, and we'll see if he can continue to run that hard the whole race.
Right, let's give you a quick rundown. There is Commander Sal, number 6 for Belgium. So the open class rider who was so fast in the open qualifying yesterday disappeared, left everybody behind in his wake. He's on the charge and on the move, and so too is Eli Tomac, and almost a deja vu moment between these two guys.
Exactly where they met last time in the ill-fated moment of Eli Tomac's first moto. But again, also, it's going to be interesting to see if DeSalle can come up and run with these guys. He's clearly fast enough, he's clearly got enough experience, and he's made his way up to, he's battling for 7th now, and I think he's probably, by the time this lap's over, he's going to have taken 7th place.
Well, Roczen was saying that he would love to win a moto outright, but he's got his hands full of Eli Tomac at the moment. So Germany versus America, Barsha 3rd, Ferris 4th, Simpson 5th, Tonkov 6th, Tano Leok 7th, Jordi Tixier 8th. DeSalle was 9th at the end of lap 2, but getting round to come in to complete. He might be ahead of Tixier. And we'll see what his lap times are. Another fastest lap, and that gap half a second between Roczen and Tomac as they came through at the end of the 3rd lap.
Yeah, DeSalle has moved up to 7th against that one. And if there's anybody, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a little psychological warfare between these two top guys, because if there was anyone, at least in the AMA series that Roczen and Tomac competed, that had Roczen's number, it was Tomac. And I think it frustrated Roczen many times, even in Supercross and also in the AMA Motocross Outdoor Series. There were times it looked like Roczen was going to be a clear winner, and only to have, you know, the victory snapped right out of his hands with Tomac getting him towards the end of the race. So, you know, I know Roczen would love to win this thing. Is it added pressure? Will it make his arm pump worse that he's suffering? It very well could. So we'll see what happens right now. And I think Tomac, having come from the back of the pack, is going to be riding in a more loose state.
Nice line there from Roczen, wide and sweeping in through that final turn to drop it back into the first turn.
You're not going to see a lot of scrubbing from Tomac at that section anymore, I promise you that. But
yeah, but we've seen the images. A couple of journalists down in the press room have got still images from the back and from the side, and I don't think it was a scrub that went wrong. Maybe he just took his eye off the ball, caught a hole in the shadow there, and obviously approaching at speed and just couldn't react in time. Well, we saw the crash, from the back on our cameras from both angles. So, very lucky to get away.
Yeah,
a little bit dinged up, but he's okay.
Yeah, we had the luxury of watching it in frame by frame too, and a couple of photographers had fantastic shots. And it does. I'm not making excuses, but it does kind of appear that one of the big Monster Energy cans, there was casting a shadow on the face of the jump. So we don't know if that could have affected Tomac's vision or sight. Did he try to change the line a little bit, not see a bump that was there? Who knows what really caused the oh no!
Ulrich's down again.
This is for sure going to be a throwaway. We've got a
number 12. That's Heron Bracker of the Netherlands. So 2 MX1 guys. I'm not sure if this is definitely going to be the throwaway, like you say. That's actually over Tomac's hill, over on the far side of the circuit, going into turn 2. So obviously catching one or two riders.
It was Dennis Ulrich. It was the German rider. So clearly the team that was leading the points coming into this moto is going to have to use that as their throwaway race, and that puts the added pressure on Roczen and Nagel in the next final race.
Brock Glover, you've been here for the whole of the weekend. The ground was pretty soft when we arrived. The ground is now coming pretty hard, pretty slick. These ruts are drying all the time. They will put water down between the races. In terms of tyres, what guys are these going to be using now? Intermediates or intermediate hards? Just real quick.
Combination of stuff. Intermediates, most of the guys, intermediates soft were some of the riders, but Tomac, it was the exception. He tends to run a more intermediate hard pack front tire.
Dennis Ulrich or Heron Bracker just being seen to there, just on the downside of Tomac's leap, where Tomac crashed in Moto number 1. There were 2 bikes involved in that, so I don't know exactly how that happened, but hopefully those guys are okay, and at least both guys get back in a race. But certainly from a German point of view, you need Dennis Ulrich to get at least a result from Moto number 1, which is this one for him, or his second race. So he was the one that was looking like he was in the most discomfort. Bracker was keen to get back on the bike, but putting his head down, the number 32 of Alexander Tonkov, still trying to tail Sean Simpson. He is in 6th, Sean Simpson, Tonkov 7th. So give me a quick rundown with 20 minutes plus 2 to go as we look at the 21 of Tanel Leok of Estonia. Ken Roczen, 3.7 seconds clear of Eli Tomac. So Germany from USA. Justin Barsha of America is 3rd. Dean Ferris of Australia is 4th. Clement de Sal of Belgium is in 5th, just 2 seconds down on the Australian. Sean Simpson of Great Britain, 3 seconds back in 6th. Tonkov of Russia is 7th. Tanel Leok, 8th of Estonia. 9th, Filipino of Italy. Jake Nichols is 10th. So we are looking for Philipparts down in 18th place at the moment. And a personal best, fastest lap of the race for Ken Roczen, a 1:42.8. That's still 5/10, half a second slower than Eli Tomac's fastest lap on lap 3, 2 laps ago.
But more importantly, to me, is that the last lap that Roczen did was his personal best, and Tomac struggled on that lap. He's almost 3 seconds slower than his personal best. So what happened in just 5 laps of the race, I'm not sure how Tomac can set his fastest lap time on lap 2 or lap 3 and then turn around 2 laps later. He must have made a good mistake. The one rider that I'm watching personally right now is Clement de Sal. I think he's going to end up coming up and overtaking Barsha. He just seems to have a lot of speed right now, and I think I think the Team USA team manager Roger DeCoster and his crew just telling Barsha, just keep calm, youngster, and make sure you post a good number here. Anywhere in the top 5, we're happy with. Just get one in the bank. We can't afford any mistakes here.
Alessandro Lupino, Team Italy, number 14. Looks like his roll-offs are hanging off the side of the goggles there. He's certainly got film. Was that just the tear-off still attached to the lens there, flapping in the wind? Difficult to see, but he's trying to find a way past the 20 Leok, number 21 of Estonia, obviously looking to do that. Tell you what I am looking at, though, one of the pre-race favourites, Team France. Their guys are down the order at the moment. Christophe Charlier is in 15th position in the open category. Jordi Tixier on the 250, just behind him in 16th position. So 14th and 15th have just moved up a position as they came over the line. Yeah,
not the result that France was hoping for in this particular race. But, again, all these things, it changes. The final race is the one that it changes, and it's still a long ways from over.
Just looking at the open qualifying heat yesterday, Clement de Sal, fastest lap of the race yesterday, 1:44.559. The fastest lap of the race so far, 1:42.3, and obviously Tomac on a 2:50. So, you know,
and considering the track's much rougher now than it was earlier, the numbers you're seeing right now that Roczen and Tomac are posting, and Tomac's back on the pace with Roczen here. It was interesting, they actually slipped up, but now they're running 43.4s, 43.8s. You know, Roczen's not going to give this one up easily, and I think Tomac better put his head down and get going here.
So Dean Ferris then here, coming under pressure as we thought he would, eventually from the number 6 of Clément de Sal of Team Belgium. And when they come over the line, we'll get the first 10 or 12 guys over the line. We'll see exactly how the things are stacking up, but not a lot in it between the times between Roczen and Tomac. Another fastest lap for Roczen personally, but what, 500ths of a second in it between Roczen and Tomac. Tomac just slightly quicker, but here's Dean Ferris, 29 of Australia. He's got his hands full with Clément de Sal, the Suzuki rider from Belgium. Oh, I tell you what, he was lucky not to catch that lip as he came through that sand, and it lit up on him there. Clément de Sal can't afford any mistakes. We'll get the first 15, 16 guys over the line because they're the guys we're looking at. Also, even Philipparts, who's down in 18th position. Oh, look at that lap from Tomac, 1:41.507. That's even quicker than de Sal's lap yesterday.
Well, that was a segment time, and Tomac just first section time, that was his fastest of the race in that first section. So we'll see what it translates to after he gets the other two sections, obviously. But I am very impressed right now with what Roczen's doing. You know, he talked about his arm pump. He talked about not really, inexplainable, why his arm pump, what he's got going. He's not sure what's going on with him. And now all of a sudden it appears he clearly doesn't have arm pump, or he wouldn't be able to be turning his fastest laps on laps 6 and 7 of the race. So
and we were talking in the first broadcast as well, Brock Glover, you and I, where you said the short recovery period between race 1 and race 2 in the AMA Nationals has been favoring Eli Tomac this year. And when you've got Roczen talking about arm pumps and cramps and that kind of thing in Moto number 1, when you saw Tomac right on the rear wheel, when we saw Tomac on the rear wheel of Roczen in Moto at the start of this race, you're thinking, right, any moment now he's going to go through, he's going to feel fresh, depending on the the crash that he had a moment ago in Moto number 1. But as you say, Roczen, the surprise at the moment. Not surprised that he's leading, but de Sal ran the outside.
Yeah, de Sal had a smooth line there, a little more power to run out of the corner, and I think he's going to own the corner or the inside here, but we'll see what happens.
Ooh, I tell you what, Bosch is not too far ahead.
No, it's not, yeah. Earlier I was expecting, I think de Sal, nothing happens, obviously, the race isn't over, but I expect him to finish this thing in at least 3rd place. He's a strong rider, and he's running strong pace right now.
Well, in terms of overall nations wins, of course, Team USA hold the record. They're on 22, Great Britain on 16, Belgium on 14, and then it's Sweden on 7, Italy on 2. Germany have 1, France also have 1, but Italy haven't won since Spain, Belpucci in 2002. France haven't won since 2001 at Namur. That's their only victory. And Dean Ferris riding with the radar on. De Sal's not going to like that. He'll run it down the inside. He does like a hard move or two, does Clément de Sal, the Suzuki rider there in yellow, number 6 for Belgium. He might get impatient in a minute if he's not careful, because he will know that, I don't think he's got a chance of winning the race. He's 22 seconds down. There's the move.
Yeah, there's where the 450 has the advantage on the bikes. When you land off a downside like that, the quick acceleration, that short burst, the 450 bike definitely has a little more muscle there, and that's where de Sal was able to use it to his advantage to get by Dean Ferris.
You say 21 seconds down on our race leader Roczen, so I don't think with 14 minutes to go he's going to be a threat for the race win. That's, we're 9 laps in the second race. Race 1 was how many laps actually? 19 laps. So another 10 laps. So at least needs to be a second lap quicker to get it down to 10 seconds. So that gives you some idea of the mountain that Clément de Sal has to climb just to get on terms, or even close to getting on terms with Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac.
Yeah, I don't see it happening right now, to be honest, unless they tangle with each other. But here's the situation. Some people, de Sal and Barsha, they've raced each other this year. De Sal came over and rode 2 rounds of the AMA. He rode the round in Lakewood, Colorado, the previous site of the Motocross of Nations, not too far before. 2010. And he also rode the race, the new track in Tennessee, and qualified, I think, 2nd that day and rode quite well. So they're no strangers to each other, but, you know, to be honest, Desaul's been riding pretty good. Barsha's been a little inconsistent this last 4 or 5 rounds, and it seemed the moment he was selected on the Motocross of Nations team, he almost went into a little bit of a funk, and he wasn't riding very well. So people were like, come on, now's not the time to ride poorly. But, you know, here's Tomac. Now he said he's, as you quickly pointed out, his fastest race lap on lap 9. And a full second faster than Ken Roczen, and now the gap is down to 2 seconds. But we're going to see what happens here. I mean, Tomac's very capable of and has done many times his fastest lap in the last few minutes of the motos in the AMA races.
Van Hoorbeek just found a way past Sean Simpson. So Jake Nichols 9, Van Hoorbeek now 10th, Sean Simpson 11. So the two Brits were there, sort of mid. Where are we? Barsha. No, Tomac here.
Yep.
So Tomac, number 8. How far now is he? Oh, he's opened up. That gap's gone open again. It's 2.6, so he's lost half a second somewhere. Maybe back markers, a little bit of traffic coming into play.
Yep. But Tomac's usually pretty good with back markers. You know, if I had to critique one of the Team USA riders that's a little slow getting around back markers, it'd probably be, you know, Ryan Dungey. But you know, I think Tomac doesn't want to make a mistake. I can tell you that right now. He's not after doing the first race when he had his big error, but we'll see what happens. And again, Ken Roczen, amazing run so far right now. It just after the first 2 laps, we clearly would have thought that Eli Tomac was going to take the lead, and it's not happened.
Well, Ken Roczen then, with just over 11 minutes plus 2 to go, continues to lead. He's 2.5 seconds clear of Tomac. Barsha is 3rd. For Team USA. Desaulles of Belgium is 4th, but he's close to within a second of the American Justin Barsha. Dean Ferris of Australia is in 5th. He's got a big gap, back 13 seconds back to Alexander Tonkov, who's having his own battle, the Russian, with the Italian Lupino. There's Tony Cairoli. He was the winner of race 1, which is MX2 and MX1.
Now turned into a cheerleader for his teammates. I mean, the interesting point when I look at the board right now, I noticed that Justin Barsha's fastest lap was on lap 4, but I see Tomac's was on lap 9, Roczen's on lap 7, Desaulles is on 7, Ferris is on 7. Only Barsha seemed to have had his fastest lap a little earlier.
So maybe just starting to get into it, Justin Barsha.
Right.
So with 10.5 to go, Roczen, Tomac, Barsha. That's how it stands. Nason's classification then after, well, halfway through Moto number 2, we're looking at the USA, 2 points clear of Belgium, Italy, Great Britain now on 41. It's a high-scoring nations, this team event this year, Brock Glover.
It is. I mean, I rode back in the era of the 4-rider teams and things, and there were times we had minimum scores. It's different now. I mean, the riders are competitive from all over. You know, it's not the same, obviously. They count, you know, every single point at this point. But I'm looking at Desaulles. If Desaulles takes over Barsha right here, then we're tied. And we're tied on 28, I believe. Yep. So it's they need Tomac. USA needs Tomac to get around Roczen.
But then that'll be 1 for 1, won't it? Because if Tomac goes past Roczen, that pulls it, you know, 1 point clear, and then Desaulles goes past Barsha, it just levels it all square again.
Exactly.
In that respect, or where we are now.
But if it doesn't happen, then Belgium and Team USA are all level.
Just take a look at those scores again as we're looking at Justin Barsha just coming under attack here from Clermont de South. Just wonder how this one's going to play out. 9 minutes to go. He's knocking in the lap times. He's closing. There's his mechanic Mark Verpalen there on the right in the red. 27 points, Team USA. 29 Belgium, 39 Italy, Australia 41. So they're 2 points off the podium. France are on 43. Great Britain are on 44 as it stands. And Germany have gone from being top to dropping down to 7th with 54 because Dennis Ulrich, he didn't complete the first or second lap after crashing with Heron Bracker of the Netherlands, who's circulating in 37th position, or at least there, if he's pulled into pit lane, that's where he was.
Germany can obviously recover quickly if they have 2 solid motos in the final race, and then that throwaway 40 doesn't count, and it just changes so fast. It's never over till it's over, and we're going to see right now what's going to happen with Desaulles and Barsha, and then you're going to have obviously Tomac and Roczen. So that seems to be the 2 battles.
Well, like you said, you know, if they recover and get 2 decent scores in the final race, this is exactly what the USA have done. They went from, you have the classification there after race 1. Team USA was 7th. They're top of the pile at the moment. Yep. You know, recovering well with Tomac in second and Barsha in third, as Lupino of Team Italy this time looks to find a way past Alexander Tonkov, who's making it very difficult for him. Side by side, he's on the right line though, going over the jump into the left-hander, and he pulls the pass and makes it stick and drops up into 7th position. Alessandro Lupino, he's on that green Kawasaki, number 14 in the blue shirt. And he's the lead rider in that particular shot, but look how close it is between Barsha and Tomac. Barsha and DeSalle. He was the top American for me at Lommel last year at the Nations, was Justin Barsha. He got that third in the very tough conditions, the third and final moto, when people maybe didn't expect him after Blake Baggett and Ryan Dungey maybe weren't performing at their best. But here he is putting in a solid performance. You know, Brock Glover, it's kind of, is it because he's young and maybe just a little bit more fired up? How do you see it with Justin Barsha?
Well, actually, I mean, Justin having been here and experienced the whole Motocross of Nations at Lommel, I think he learned a lot there, and he realized, you know, after tangling early, I think it was with Diker. Another Tomac moment for a red, white, and blue Honda. I don't think that's what Roger DeCosta or any of those guys want to keep seeing on the monitor.
Well, that was another moment there. And that's allowed DeSalle to close right in on the rear wheel of the number 9, Justin Barsha, who looked to be in control there. That gap no more than a second apart. Now maybe just feeling the heat a little bit. Got the radar on, goes square on in the corner. DeSalle won't like that. He'll say, you know what, you want to play hardball, bring it on. Because that's the kind of rider that DeSalle is as well. So, easily ran the outside though for Team Belgium. And up into third place goes Clément DeSalle. How much of a reaction will that get from number 9, Justin Barsha there on that red Honda riding for Team USA? Brock Glover, you see these guys week in, week out at the US Nationals. You know him probably better than anybody over in Europe. What do you think?
I honestly think, I mean, DeSalle is clearly riding faster. I think Barsha just needs to try to pick up a couple of the lines that you saw. But here's another one right here. This is just this jump has now turned into the nemesis of Team USA.
He did well to hang on to that.
I think they need to stop the scrub technique, you know, that's so prevalent in the AMA racing. When you can't see going into the sun and you're faced into a shadow like we talked about earlier, you just need to get.
Maybe caught something again like
Tomac, you just need to figure out what you need to do. Now with this pass, Team Belgium has now taken over the lead and put Team USA down, with Italy sitting in third.
There must have been another pass there somewhere as well then, because that was only one pass, wasn't it? Roczen, Tomac, DeSalle, Barsha, Ferris, Leop, Lupino, Van Hoorbeek is still there in 8th.
Yep, it must have been. It must have been Van Hoorbeek must have got somebody there, because at this point right now, I mean, the one thing is for the lead here, we're going to watch this on the screen here. Tomac's, I think, kind of buying his time. He's now less than 1 second off. He's 0.8. 8/10 off of behind.
We don't even need a stopwatch for that. There's the gap, just the length of that short tabletop into turn 7.
Yep, we're looking on the monitors. Not a very big monitor, and they're both clearly in the screen. So that's, like I said, doesn't take a rocket scientist just to figure that one out. Even an ex-motocross racer or two.
With fading eyesight, both of us. Well, this is a battle then. 4.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Deja vu for Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac. Eli Tomac of the Team USA has worked extremely hard to get back on point with the rear wheel of number 2, Ken Roczen of Team Germany. They're both inside the back marker there, coming over the Monster Energy crest into the shadow of the sun. We saw a live GoPro image of Ken Roczen at the start, and the far hill there, just at the top of the screen, dropping up into that bank turn. How the sun is going to be sweeping around there for the third and final race. That's going to play, well, I don't know whose advantage, but the crowd getting amped up here and getting very vocal. Tomac senses a victory here. He would love to do that to Roczen on home soil. Roczen has said that he can win a moto here. Well, if he thinks that, Eli Tomac must be thinking exactly the same. And Brock Glover, we have a bit of a showdown between these two guys. Again, not the first time for these two during a year. They race each other week in, week out, back home in the US, Supercross, and of course outdoor in the AMA Nationals. But Roczen would so love, he would be disappointed if he were to lose it now, so close to the end of this race, wouldn't he?
Absolutely, and you've been in the position when you've won a championship in Motocross of Nations, and I know I have. I mean, my very first exposure to the sport.
Looking for a move, side by side over the jump here. Yep. Roczen takes a look over his shoulder, realizes how close Eli Tomac is, who's going around the outside. Has he got the move on the inside here? Sorry to cut over you there, Brock. No, these two guys are just going at it now. This is great.
Yeah, this is the type of stuff here you just sit back and watch. You don't even need commentation. It's commentation. If you're tuned into us right now you're a motocross fan, and this is what you came to see right here. Tomac whipping it around the outside there, do a little scrub on the outside. He's carrying a lot more speed, but he has so much more ground to cover that it's not effective for the pass.
Sal, not even over the line yet in third place for Team Belgium, right in the 450, the open class machine. Now he is 36 seconds down on this battle here.
Well, if this is the future of motocross worldwide, you're in good hands watching these two guys. Talented riders, both gutsy, both want to win, as you mentioned. When we get this little break here, kind of tell my first exposure to Motocross Nations way back in 1983 when we rode dinosaurs and square wheels. But the point was, my first exposure was in Belgium. Reigning champions were Belgians. They had the 125, 250, and 500cc world champions that year. And, here we come onto their soil. And believe me, I can tell you this right now as we're sitting here some 30 years later, I wanted to spoil their parade in the worst of ways. And we were fortunate for the Americans to do that. It wasn't the most popular decision for our team manager, Roger DeCoster, being on his home soil, but it was. I wanted to spoil their parade, I can promise you. So hopefully Tomac in that case wants to, but on the other side, Roczen wants to win on his home turf.
Of course he does. Oh, nicely done there from both guys, using the rear wheel and just getting a bit of a spring on the bounce there. But again, he's got a good line around there, Tomac. And if he doesn't pass Roczen until the final lap,
Tomac goes into
running wide.
Roczen goes into a defensive mode to cover the line he had Tomac on earlier, and then obviously Tomac took the inside line. The interesting part about Tomac's line there coming up to the finish line, that's the line that Barcia was taking when Desal went around him. Somehow, Tomac's able to make it work where Barcia is, obviously on the bigger bike, not as comfortable getting on the throttle there.
Well, the 75,000 or so fans here out on the track, really willing these two guys on. Most of them, this guy here, number 2, Ken Roczen of Germany. Lap times last time around, there was only 2 tenths in it as they came on the line, so pretty much even Stevens within a tenth or so.
And right now, depending on how they finish this lap up, this could be a 2 lap to go board come around. This could be it.
Could be 3 laps still. Yep. And that would play into the hands of Eli Tomac because he might need 3 laps, he might need 2 laps, who knows. But onto the plateau, round the corner jump into the final corner and back onto the start straight briefly. Tomac, there's a back marker ahead of Roczen.
Yeah, this is going to be close coming around. I don't think they're going to get there before the 30 minutes is up. I think you're going to see 2 laps.
I think we are. 22 seconds, 21. You know what? It's going to be very, very tight, and that might be controversial all by itself as to when that goes out, if that's the case. I think we're going to be fine. I think it's going to be 2 laps to go.
Yep.
10 seconds to get back to the finish line from
here.
I
don't think they can do it. But I'll tell you right now, Roczen knows it, and Tomac's got caught behind, took a poor line selection there, got caught behind the lapper coming in, but he's nowhere near as close as he was in the first time. Yeah, he was much closer the last 2 laps. So
your stopwatch going off right on cue there, 30 minutes beaping away.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good because
I didn't know I was going to substitute, so I started it. There you go. So this point right here, again, Tomac's closer. He didn't have to worry about riding defensively there.
This is pressure, though, for Roczen, isn't it?
Oh, clearly. He just wants to run. But, I think he's ridden this track enough that it's probably a little bit on cruise control.
It just comes down to line choice now, though, doesn't it, between these guys? Because, obviously, it's harder to lead than it is to follow. Roczen, he'll go defensive, might get caught out, and Tomac can just capitalize right there.
Yeah,
Nice line there from Ken Roczen just coming out. He was in between ruts and riding right on the crest of it there just to try and stay out of the holes. You look at the ruts and the holes and the bumps just going down there, and obviously as the day wears on, them shadows are just going to create.
Yeah, Tomac looks like he's climbing a few ruts here and there, and that's just part of it, just trying to get on the gas. He's trying everything he can right now. He wants to win this thing in the worst of ways. Certainly doesn't want to make the same mistake coming up, and
mistake there
Roczen makes a little tiny cut, but
shows him a wheel.
You know what? I don't mean that's a poor line, but I think Tomac tried to get underneath him there in a spot they really couldn't have done, and it ended up actually losing a couple of bike lengths. But
Simpson's gone down. He's down in 18th place at the moment while we've been watching this. So not a good moto for Sean Simpson then, and Gene B. Nichols in 11th place. But this is what it's all come down to. A little bit slow.
Tomac just made a major mistake there. Feet off the pegs. Got a very poor drive coming onto one of the fastest straightaways, which is a no-no there. That's going to cost you the most time.
This corner was the danger zone for Roczen, wasn't it? He's obviously thankful that Tomac is not that close as they start the last lap. But we know how hard Tomac can ride here. Number 8 on that red Honda riding for Team USA. It's all or nothing for both these guys. Every point counts. Remember that, Brock Glover.
Absolutely does. And you know what? Both of these guys want to say they're the MX2 guy that won an overall moto. You know, Roczen clearly wants to do it in his home soil. Tomac's not nearly as close right now. Roczen's on a qualifier lap mentality right now where you're trying to go as fast as you can. And
he's just turned it up here, Roczen.
Yep, and Tomac just made a major mistake right there.
So Roczen then, he thinks he can still go on and win this race. It's for him to lose and Tomac to gain a vital nations point in the overall classification. In terms of the, a couple of laps ago, we were looking at DeSalle, 36, 37 seconds down. He's not even over the line. 44 seconds now between those. That's the pace that these guys are pushing.
These guys are running an incredible pace. I mean, Tomac made a huge mistake back there, cost him at least a second, and now he's gained about half of it back. But you remember, you know, we're coming into that final corner where Tomac has shown a wheel almost multiple times this race, and it's coming up very shortly right now. So it'd be interesting to see if Roczen actually changes his line to take that option out of
well, he's
Tomac's
gone inside here. It's not the first time, but he knows.
This is the corner Tomac made the big mistake last time. He needs to get through it cleanly to get a drive, and if he doesn't, it's over.
He's good there.
Roczen got a little sideways, didn't seem to lose much drive at all.
And charging hard, Tomac.
I just don't think it's going to happen. He's not close enough. But that's an amazing race for the fans.
Almost off the back there for Tomac.
He just full throttle.
And Ken Roczen.
He did. He took the inside line away from him.
He wins a Moto here. He's never done that before. Ken Roczen, Team Germany, picks up a point for Team Germany. Well, they're going to need that going into the last race. These two guys, they race each other every week. He, like Tomac, he knows he's been beaten by the better guy. He was on the rear wheel, he was off and on, and he was putting everything into that, Brock Glover, but in the end, he just fell short by about 0.549 of a second.
What a fantastic race. I mean, these guys were matching lap time for lap time. For instance, I mean, Roczen's fastest lap time, a 1:42.5. Tomac's fastest lap time, 1:42.3. Blink of an eye, not even really anything to brag. There's no bragging rights there. In the last final lap, these guys were matching lap for lap, depending on lappers and line selection, and makes little minor mistakes. And it just was an incredible race, what the fans wanted. Clement Desalle comes over with a solid third-place finish, something Team Belgium needed. And we'll just see if Barcia gets over the lap here. And Barcia does get to fourth place. So that's, a good result for Team USA, a second and a fourth, and they get that thing in the book. We'll see what happens in the final one for those guys.
Lupino just about to come over the line as well, but Ferris does come over the line in fifth place. Then we've got Tanel Leok in sixth. So good ride for the Estonian. Seventh in the end for Van Hoorbeek, eighth for Lupino. We wait for Charlier and Tonkov, but more importantly, we will wait to see what the classification is and how it stands and how it's changed after race one. So Brock Glover, after Moto number one, the classification was this. Germany on 13, Italy 14, Australia 14, Belgium 15, France 17. Just rough mathematics here. At the moment, Belgium are now leading the way on 25, USA on 28, Italy on 36, France on 38, Australia 39, and Great Britain on 50. Ken Roczen comes in. He's more than happy that he's just won a Moto. He's done exactly what he wanted to do when he was in the press conference on Friday. Not sure if that's an emotional Ken Roczen winning here or if that's just an exhausted, tired, hot and sweaty Ken Roczen. His girlfriend now, I feel sorry for his girlfriend because obviously she's American and she's wearing two hats this weekend, Brock Glover, supporting her German boyfriend on home soil and wanting, I guess, the Americans to do well as well. It's not easy, is it?
Yeah, I think in her case, she's, it is a little bit torn, but I would have to say she's probably rooting for Ken and his program right now, which is understandable.
That's how close it was.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. It's exactly what motocross fans worldwide wanted to see. And again, I caution even to get any assumptions before this thing's over because, Team Germany's having to count a 40-point DNF, which is not even, they just need two motos. Anything finishing the race will be a better...
Dean Ferris picks up the Fox Whole Shot Award, €1,000 as well, or is that $1,000? €1,000.
American company, but they're using euros.
He's happy. He doesn't care what happens now to Team Australia. I'm only joking, of course. Don't want to offend any Australians that are up watching this in the middle of the night.
How about Australia?
They're doing great.
They have been fantastic, and they haven't had, the one guy you would think would be on their team, Chad Reed. Chad Reed's not even on their team, and they're performing at in an incredible level. And congratulations, Gary Ben, and all the team manager and all the team, Brett Metcalf, who in AMA racing didn't even have a ride this year. Had to ride the Canadian National Championship races, which he won.
And a clear bike length clear of Ken Roczen as he came through there. Dean Ferris to claim that Fox Whole Shot Award. $1,000 as well. There was DeSalle getting caught up. We never saw that from the previous angle. So
taking out the camera.
And I tell you what, he has ridden well then to get to third.
He did. It was very, very close to a big problem, and he rode all the way up to third, and a solid result for Team Belgium.
Back at Torchental, we've just seen a great second race here. MX2 and Open won by this rider here. Number 2, Ken Roczen for Germany, picking up a vital point ahead of Eli Tomac of the USA, Clement DeSalle, who was caught in that first turn pilot. He ends at third. Barsha, Ferris, Leot, Van Horbeek and Lupino. We are top 8 ahead of Christophe Charlier of France and Alexander Tonkov of Russia. Jake Nichols came home 11th ahead of Jordi Tixier, Matis Caro, David Philipparts, Mikhailov. But Simpson had a rough one. He was up there in the top 10 with his teammate Nichols, eventually dropped down to 18th. So England have got it all to do in Moto number 3, I would suspect. But Brock Glover, again, I can't reiterate enough how great that race was, the battle, the matchup between Roczen and Tomac.
It was incredible. It was exactly what the fans here wanted to see. And it certainly is something that Ken Roczen has wanted so badly all year.
Well, we're getting ready to go down to speak to him. Is it an emotional Ken Roczen or just a highly ecstatic? Here he is with Amy.
Ken, you won a race. That was an intense last few laps. How did you deal with the pressure of Eli?
Well, I felt pretty strong, and I think I was warmed up good from the first moto. Grabbed another good start, and I think we ran wide open all the way through the checkered flag. So, man, it feels so great. It was an amazing race. I think the fans really liked it, and overall, it was super good. I had all good starts, great ride from Eli. I don't know, I'm stoked, and I think I won the MX2 again, so I think it was the first time that someone ever won 4 times in a row, so I'm super happy about that, and I reached my goal by winning one race. Absolutely amazing.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, the individual class win decided there. Ken Roczen, as you said, winning it 4 times in a row now, and also getting a race win, an individual moto win, not just an MX2 victory, but to do it on home soil, extra special for Ken Roczen and Team Germany. So he can relax now. His work is done. Down to Max Nagel and Dennis Ulrich if he's able to ride, of course.
Eli, that was a big ask from you after what happened in the first race. Do you think getting that good start helped?
Absolutely. That's what I needed in the first one. Man, all I can say, that was one of the most fun races I've ever had in my life. Me and Kenny went at it the whole entire time. Just, I wasn't able to get close enough in the spot where I thought I could make the pass, and that was right before the finish line. And, man, I don't know. It was just like whoever started in front of each other was going to win that race because we were so close.
Well, it's great to hear, and you provided us with some great race action today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Brock Glover, we were saying, past pit lane through that final turn, that was the place that he needed to be close to launch that attack, and another heartbreak victory was on the cards, but he just alluded to it there. He wasn't quite close enough to make it happen.
No, he made a pretty big mistake just about a quarter of the way through the final lap in the corner, the big sweeping corner to the left there that's on the end of the track. And it just, by the time he got close enough at the end, he wasn't there.
Yeah, turn 5, just dropping up onto the thing. Yep. So Clement DeSalle, though, Team Belgium was third. We saw him get caught in the first turn action. Here he is.
Clement, Team Belgium now lead the way after race 2. Tell me, you haven't been on the track since this morning. How was it feeling?
Yeah, feeling is good, but I had a small mistake on the start now, so I'm a little bit disappointed. I maybe could do better, but I had a strong comeback and finished third now. So we'll go quickly have a rest and try to have again a good result and win the nation.
See you in the next race.
Again, Brock Glover, Clement DeSalle just saying he has a short recovery. We talked about this at the top of the broadcast. The MX2 guys having a short straw. Clement DeSalle riding a big 450. Got no time to recuperate going into the third and final motor of the day, which sees the big boys, MX1, be the Open. going to be a big one. So Clement de Sal then, no time to recover. Brock Glover, it's not easy riding a big bike these days, is it? Those 450s have power.
They have a lot of power, and some of the most rideable bikes are the ones they've softened them up on the bottom because they don't beat you up so much. But you know, this is going to be interesting to see if Dungey can recover, because clearly Ryan hasn't put his best foot forward. And this is his opportunity to take over that role and to make sure that the Team USA has two solid positions. On the flip side, de Sal here is clearly, Team Belgium is currently leading. If they had another solid race, and I would expect de Sal to be either first or second this race, it could be a Team Belgium victory, and they could have their 15th Motocross of Nations championship.
The wind still blowing here above the Talkessel circuit of Teushenthal. And if you missed it, here's what happened in race 2. The gate dropped, all the 250s were stacked up the inside. Dean Ferris grabbed the foxhole shot. He was a bike length clear of Ken Roczen of Germany. De Sal got caught up the inside there, number 6. He was about 10 guys back. Well, he was right at the back, apart from these guys on the floor. Kane Lamont of Australia went down. So too did number 30, Todd Waters. And Dennis Ulrich, that wasn't his first crash of the weekend either. So Todd Waters, the second of the Australian guys, only came home in 20th position, so wasn't able to find his way through the field. But this was the battle in the early stages. Number 8, Eli Tomac, finding a way past Ferris. That got him up into third place in the race. And then, of course, he went after this guy, Ken Roczen. Roczen was leading the way. Eli Tomac was there, but Dennis Ulrich, number 3 for Team Germany, went down hard. He also looked like he was in a tangle there with number 12, Heron Bracker. De Sal was on the charge, got himself up into third, but was already 30-odd seconds down on the leaders of Roczen and Tomac. Barsha was sitting there comfortably in 4th position, the number 9, as Lupino and Tonkov had their battle. A big moment for number 9, Justin Barsha. That allowed de Sal to close in and eventually take the 3rd position. But between these two guys, the number 2 of Ken Roczen and the 8 of Eli Tomac, they provided the fireworks and all the entertainment for the 70-odd thousand fans out on the trackside here. Final lap, Roczen looked like it opened up enough of an advantage to be able to deal with Tomac, who failed to lay down and take it laying down. He came back for more, and in the end, he just wasn't quite close enough. He even looped out in his attempts to try and close in, but it was an emotional win for number 2, Ken Roczen, winning race 2 on home soil. And good to see the sportingness between these two guys, the giants of the lights in the USA, and of course, probably the fastest 2 MX2 riders in the world. Brock Glover, a great race, just real quick.
You know, I'm not sure. You know, I've seen Jeffrey Hurlings ride an MX2 bike too, so let's throw him into that mix. And he's unbelievable. But it's. I think Germany's gonna have a hard time right now. I mean, they're open class riders. Waters. He's Dennis Ulrich is clearly didn't look like he was feeling too good there, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, it's been an action-packed weekend here at Toyschental, one of the events. Of course, you've seen some of the ambient moments. A lawnmower race, the Monster Energy lawnmower race out in the fields, in the car parks here. The guys just strapping on their team helmets and doing the business. Brock Glover, I know you would have enjoyed riding these things. Look more like quads than lawnmowers, don't they?
They look like a good way to get hurt to me, but yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, it wasn't the only thing to happen this weekend. Last night we had the gala dinner. FIM Youthstream Awards 2013. Of course, Giuseppe Longo, Mr. Vito Polito, Dr. Wolfgang Schrub. Kicked off the evening with a series of speeches. Pit Byra picked up a Lifetime Career Award. Petr Petrov picked up Young Rider of the Award, the Undergroot Award. Of course, our MX1, 2, 3 and Women's World Champions were all crowned as well, and that took place in the VIP section just next to the finish line area. It was a great night, great food on the table as well, and of course hosted by myself and Amy Dargan. So it's getting bigger and better every year, that award ceremony, and it's almost like the gala dinner that you have back home in the States the night after the final round of the championship. So,
yeah, the Monster Energy Supercross Championship Awards banquet, and then obviously in the Outdoor Championship we have another separated one. But yeah, just fantastic to see all the champions up there get their awards that they so justly deserved.
Right, we're going to get ready for an interview with Joel Smets. Obviously, we've got a little spare time on our hands. Joel Smets, the team manager and winner of this event in the past himself, of course. Team Belgium are leading the way on 25 points. All races count at the moment, so USA just 3 points behind them on 28. Italy are on 36, France on 38. Australia are on 39, they're in 5th, but they've got Brett Metcalf and Todd Waters. Waters, he needs to stay up on 2 wheels through the first turn this time around. And Great Britain on 50. Can they still get on the podium? Well, anything's happened. It's a long shot, but they're down in 6th at the moment. Germany, again, they had a bad result there from Dennis Ulrich, 40 points he picked up for not finishing that race, and that's going to be a tough one for those guys to get back on terms. But between motos, we'll work out, we'll drop out the worst scores and see how it is as it stands going into the final race if we were to throw away the final score, and we'll bring you that at the top of the next broadcast. But hopefully we're going to grab a quick word with Joel Smets of Team Belgium. I know our guys have been down there trying to track him down, and as it stands at the moment, he knows how this works, just as we do, myself and Brock Glover, because the 3-time winner, he knows, is probably not the first time Team Belgium have led. We saw Team USA leading before Tomac crashed in the second half of Moto number 1. We saw Germany leading at the start of race 2, and obviously they're now down in 7th place. And Team USA were leading, but they've been dropped down as well, and Belgium have slowly but surely worked their way up into contention. Where were they after Moto number 1, Team Belgium?
They were sitting back in 4th place. Right now, clearly the pressure's on, the Team USA with Justin Barcia and Ryan Dungey. Pressure's on Ken de Dijker in Team Belgium, particularly him, and obviously Clement Desalle. And also in the Germans, you've got Nagel. He has got to perform to add to their disastrous 40-point there with...
that throwaway race now.
It's Dennis Ulrich, right?
Dennis Ulrich,
yeah. And he just had a tough go of it. So hopefully he's physically okay to give Germany the boost they need, because right now he didn't look like he left the track feeling too good physically, but he has no option. He has to get on the starting gate this time. So it's going to be a battle. I think Yep.
Okay, well, we're just looking at water going down on the track. We're just having 1 or 2 difficulties getting that interview with Joel Smets. So we will see you in about, again, another 30 minutes' time. Again, Brock Glover, thanks for joining us up here. I know we could have talked a little bit more, but we'll be back again in 30 minutes to do it all over. Thanks for watching. See you then.